Now on Coast TV News.
Vying for District 20 after Stell Parker Selby vacated that seat, constituents will hear today from Democrats hoping to take over leadership. Traveling for the holiday weekend, we'll tell you the best and worst times to hit the road for your 4th of July plans.
This is Coast TV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Elisa Weber and welcome to Coast TV News Midday. New this morning, House Speaker Melissa Minor Brown has issued the writ for a special election for the empty District 20 seat. The House Speaker announced about an hour ago that special election will be held on August 5th. The Speaker says the winner will serve the remainder of that current term, which runs through Election Day in November 2026. And Democrats vying for that currently vacant District 20 seat will have a chance to speak to constituents at a public forum. The area encompasses Lewes on the east side of the district, over to Milton and Harbison on the west side. It's home to over 23,000 registered voters, and that seat is now vacant after Stell Parker Selby resigned after missing every single day in legislative session this year. The public forum is taking place today at the Lewes Public Library, and according to Delaware 20th Representative District Democratic Party Committee, there are 5 people participating. That event runs from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. and is open to all registered Democrats. And the people participating in today's forum include Alana Berry, the executive director of the Delaware Center for Justice. She says she is focused on helping families thrive. Next is Lewes Councilman Joe Elder. While he did not respond to our request for comment, his biography lists multiple degrees and experience as a teacher, professor, and administrator. Milton Councilwoman Randy Meredith says if she is elected, she aims to improve infrastructure and address affordable housing. Keith Steck is an Army veteran who says his activism addresses water, environmental issues, and overdevelopment. And the 5th participant is Ruby Keeler-Schaefer. She's the first Democrat to file for that 20th Representative District House seat in the 2026 election. She lives in Lewes and owns a small business. The Sussex County Republican Party officially named Nikki Miller as their candidate for the special election in District 20. Miller already filed for the 2026 race. This is her second attempt at that seat. Miller lost to former Representative Parker Selby by just 275 votes in 2024. Miller told Coast TV she hopes the experience she gained from past campaigns will better her chances in a special election. And we are now taking a live look outside at Milford, and our first alert meteorologist, Bob Trahey, is going to be joining us. Bob, that is a sky with no clouds in it, so I already know it's really bright at the beach.
Absolutely, Lisa. What a difference 24 hours makes. We had that soaking rain this time yesterday. Now it's sunshine, still on the muggy side, and it's warm too, with mid-80s inland, even 87 in Redden and Milton right now. Millsboro 86, cooler 70s at the beaches. Indian River Inlet 79. Rehoboth right now at 80 degrees. Dew point temperature still on the high side into the low 70s. So we're seeing feels like temperatures in the low to, in some cases, mid-90s inland areas. So another warm day, but not oppressive like we've seen in the past. With a westerly wind right now, we have a cold front trying to move through. It's beautiful, just some high wispy clouds, and I think this front will get nudged to the east as we go into the afternoon. Slightly drier air behind it, and then another front farther to our north into western New York. That will reinforce the drier and cooler air into your 4th of July. Upper 80s close to 90 this afternoon, 91 to 92 many locations with 80s and 90s at the beaches, and still very hot as we go into the evening hours, and feels like temperatures low 90s, maybe mid 90s at times this afternoon, with actual temperatures close to 90. And then we'll see that front move through tonight. I'll have your 4th forecast, including the fireworks forecast, and looking good for the remainder of the weekend as well. I'll have much more on that coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
All right, thank you, Bob. And drivers heading to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge are getting a heads up on the best and the worst times to travel. The Maryland State Highway Administration says traffic should be normal right now through the 4th, but the agency says avoid using the bridge Saturday and Sunday between the hours of 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. The State Highway Administration is stopping non-emergency lane closures from July 3rd to early Monday morning. They'll also have extra patrols in busy areas to quickly clear broken down cars and help with crash cleanup. And drivers hitting the road for 4th of July weekend may not have as much paid at the pump this year. According to AAA, the average price of a gallon of gas in Delaware is $3.19. In Maryland, it's $3.24. and in Virginia, it's $3.10. This does not stray too far from the national average of $3.17. That's down from $3.49 per gallon last year. AAA says a record-setting 61.6 million people are expected to travel by car this 4th of July weekend. New this morning, Delaware Senator Spiros Mantazavinos introduced legislation that would establish a task force to examine auto insurance rates. The senator says the Automobile Insurance Reform Task Force aims to lower insurance costs, improve how medical bills are handled after accidents, and help people and businesses save money. The resolution has passed the House and the Senate. The massive mixed-use plan called Cool Spring Crossing was back in front of the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Committee on Wednesday. The county gave the first green light, recommending to approve the project with a handful of conditions that will go to the county council. Cool Spring Crossing would go off of Route 9 on Cool Spring Road, and the idea includes more than 1,900 housing units spread across 7 villages, plus a YMCA, a grocery store, restaurants, a hotel, a theater, and more. The recommendations still must go to the county council for final approval. And House Republicans are racing to pass the president's massive spending bill before the July 4th holiday. The legislation appearing to overcome opposition from a group of GOP holdouts who are holding up the process. As NBC's Alice Barr shows us, after overcoming a key procedural hurdle, debate is now underway before a vote on the final passage.
Passed the one big, beautiful bill.
Republicans grinding push to pass President Trump's massive tax and spending bill, hitting a hitch in the House, where GOP holdouts held up a procedural vote for hours overnight before finally voting to move ahead. House Speaker Mike Johnson fielding calls from President Trump all night.
And said, who else needs to have a discussion? I'm ready to get on the phone.
The president posting after midnight, what are the Republicans waiting for? What are you trying to prove? MAGA is not happy and it's costing you votes. Earlier in the day, he met with holdout Republicans at the White House looking to ease concerns over the bill's spending, adding substantially to the deficit.
I think we got some good information from the president.
Speaker Johnson saying he wants to avoid ping-ponging the bill with the Senate so the House can't make any changes, even though conservatives don't like Senate adjustments to clean energy credits and the Medicaid overhaul. While moderate Brian Fitzpatrick was ultimately the only Republican voting no on the procedural step, along with all Democrats, who slammed federal aid cuts projected to cost more than 11 million Americans their health insurance.
The largest cut to health care in our history, the largest transfer of wealth from working families to the billionaire class.
The extraordinary things in this bill are so important for the American people.
GOP leaders adamant the bill's key components extending the Trump tax cuts while funding defense and deportations. And the president, who wants it all done, will prove too popular for Republicans to turn down. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Coming up, flavor meets future. Meet one Sussex County business owner serving up meals and motivation to rebuild his community.
We don't get to choose what we're born into, but we do get to choose how we use those experiences. That's the mindset for one man in Sussex County, a businessman. As Coast TV's Emma Aiken shows us in today's Coastal Connections, he turns pain into positivity.
Cooking up cheesesteaks. It's a lifestyle for Gary Shirey, who owns Bub's Grub's food truck. But things used to be a lot different.
My dad went to jail for murder when I was 6 years old.
Dysfunctional is the word Shirey used to describe his childhood.
I thank God every day that I'm still alive. You know, the heroin epidemic is killing people.
Shirey struggled with a heroin addiction himself and ultimately ended up behind bars. That's where he says he hit rock bottom. But committed to breaking the cycle, Shirey vowed to give his kids a better childhood than he had. So, in 2019, he bought a food truck, and that was the start of Bub's Grubs.
So if I used to get high and spend all that money getting high, I could spend that money to feed kids.
Now he does, feeding communities not just cheesesteaks, but motivation. and he can proudly say he's someone his kids are proud of.
My son can go into school and say, my daddy owns this truck.
Shirey says his change started with taking accountability, and while he'll never forget his past.
And November 29th will be 9 years that I haven't had a needle in my arm. 9 years.
He's focused on feeding his future. For Coastal Connections, I'm Emma Aiken.
I don't think we could have scripted our beautiful weather any better. Get all the rain and humidity out of the way and then clear the path for gorgeous weather into the 4th. And that's what we're looking at. And beautiful right now, too, on the FH Fur Cam in Cambridge, 86. The humidity is starting to drop. We're seeing dew points falling into the 60s now. It's still muggy, but not oppressively so like the last few days. And temperatures into the upper 80s as we go into the afternoon. Your 4th of July planner is looking fantastic for tomorrow. Looking great across the board. Nothing in the way of rain, and temperatures into the mid 80s tomorrow afternoon, and much more in the way of comfortable humidity. And then cooling down into the 70s and looking great for the fireworks tomorrow evening. Clear skies, calm winds, and temperatures in the mid 70s around 9 p.m. and then by 11 looking at 71 degrees. So really great weather for the cookouts and the fireworks and everything to do with 4th of July. Temperatures right now in the mid to upper 80s, 87 in Redden, 86 in Delmar, Millsboro 87. A little cooler at the beaches, 82 in Lewes and 80 right now in Rehoboth, 83 in Bethany Beach. As some of us are still in the 70s as far as the dew points, but also some of us dropping into the 60s. So the air is drying out a little bit, but feels like temperatures still in the low to mid 90s away from the coast. So stay hydrated in the afternoon as we have a westerly wind over land and a bit of a sea breeze at the coast. That's what's keeping you a little cooler as we're looking at mostly sunny skies. There is a cold front that's trying to move through Delmarva, but it's kind of hung up right over the top of us. But I think we'll get a nudge by high pressure and start to move offshore as we go into the afternoon with slightly drier air. Then the drier air that's poised behind this cold front will be moving in as we head into the 4th of July. Already some showers and storms from New York into New England. As this moves in through the overnight, it could trigger some storms around Philly up into the New York area, but I don't think we're going to be seeing anything. I think it'll fizzle out as the cooler, drier air will be coming in right out of Canada and right over the top of us heading into the 4th of July. There is a system off the southeast coast, off the Florida coast, which could gain tropical characteristics with time, but right now it's just an area of rain, but that could be wiggling up the coast into Monday, maybe giving us some showers. But today through the weekend, a beautiful 4th of July holiday, lower humidity and temperatures into the 80s and low 90s. Futurecast this afternoon, upper 80s around the noon hour, then lower 90s around 2 p.m. And we're looking at 70s and 80s along the coast. A little bit of a sea breeze there, but very warm inland areas with lower 90s. Then as we go through this evening and tonight, we'll see that cold front dropping in. Once again, I think any kind of storms fizzle out, just some clouds for us. And then 60s and 70s tomorrow morning and a gorgeous 4th of July by the afternoon. Mid 80s, comfortable humidity levels, and then good looking weather for the fireworks as we go into tomorrow evening. And then Saturday morning, look at this, some of us dipping into the upper 50s, very pleasant then. And then we're looking at 80s as we go into the afternoon hours. Feels like temperatures this afternoon in the lower 90s, but much better heading into Friday with the drier air. As we're looking at the muggy meter, it's kind of humid and muggy today, but then comfortable Friday and Saturday, but then going up again early next week as we could see a coastal low giving us some rain and maybe a little bit of wind, but still too early to tell. For today, upper 80s around Seaford and Georgetown, and a little cooler at the beaches, upper 80s for the eastern shore, and then Salisbury 91, but upper 80s from Ocean City to Chincoteague. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, gorgeous into the holiday weekend, and cooler Saturday morning, 62, very pleasant, upper 80s this weekend, and then looks like more showers and storms early next week with typical summer temperatures.
Thank you, Bob. And here's what's coming up tonight on DSN at 7:30. It's Into the Trenches. At 10:30, the final score. And then over on the DSN Plus app at 6 o'clock, Crown Sports Central High School League girls basketball. Also at 6, Cape Henlopen High School League boys soccer. And at 6:15, Maryland Supreme Basketball League Court boys 1 basketball. And up next, 'tis the season for lanternflies. We'll tell you why officials say if you see them, squash them. You may have seen them, swatted them, or squashed them. We're talking about spotted lanternflies. The invasive species don't bite or sting, but they suck the sugar out of trees, leaving them weak. If you see them, environmentalist agencies say kill them. Coming up, preventing tragedies, we'll show you a demo about how hot cars can get in the summertime. As summer is getting into full swing on Delmarva, the Delaware Office of Highway Safety is raising awareness about the dangers of heat stroke. The agency hosted an event this week at the Dover DMV to educate families on child passenger safety and how quickly a parked car can reach dangerous temperatures. With hot days ahead, officials say it's crucial to be careful.
And we're seeing gorgeous conditions out there right now. Puffy clouds and Laurel, 85 degrees, headed towards 90 this afternoon. As we're looking at gorgeous weather heading into the holiday weekend. Still a little muggy today, but drier and cooler as we go into your 4th of July. Umbrella giveaway winner is Linda Ennis from Pocomoke City, Maryland. Congratulations to her. From Paul Davis and Coast TV, I'll have your 10-day forecast. It's looking good coming up after the break. A gorgeous afternoon on the way for Delmarva. Make sure you stay hydrated with water and have plenty of sunscreen as we're seeing temperatures approaching 90 degrees, but with the humidity feeling like low to mid 90s. Remember to call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone. Your forecast just a call away, sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, the 4th looking great. 87, low humidity, lots of sunshine, looking great through the outdoor activities and the fireworks in the evening hours, and then into the weekend, temperatures into the upper 80s and maybe more storms into early next week. We'll have to watch the system coming up the coast, and cooler, more storms by the end of next week.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News Midday. And for more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Don't forget to join us for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon. Have a great day.